How neighbourly are we? Recent research shows that less than 25% of us feel like we belong to a community and 10% of us don't talk to our neighbours at all. But how wise is it not to talk to the people closest to your front door? And what does it mean for the safety of your home? Jim Maddan is the chairman of the Neighbourhood and Home Watch network, and he's going to give us some easy to remember tips on how we can protect our homes and build relationships with our neighbours.
I think it's very important that neighbours talk to each other. And a recent survey by Admiral Home Insurance has shown that about 50% of people would not report an incident involving their neighbour's property to the police.
So what sort of thing can people do to protect their home from being burgled?
Well, we recommend that people adopt the WIDE principles, which there are 4 basic things. The W is for windows, to make sure that you have proper window locks. I is for interior lighting, to make sure that you have lights that come on at various times of the day and night. D is for deadlocks or door locks, and it's important that you have the proper locks on your front door and your back door, and that if you have a patio doors, that they're properly secured as well. And E is for external lighting. If you have external lighting at front and back and side, it deters the burglars. And if you adopt all those principles, you're 49 times less likely to become a victim of burglary than if you don't have any of them. That's a staggering figure. The prime time for a burglary is between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. on a weekday. And the burglars, most of them are opportunistic. It might be that on a nice summer's evening you're out in your back garden and you've left the front window open. So to make sure that all the windows that you have are properly secured and can't be accessed by the burglar.
What are some of the ways that communities can come together to help each other out?
The community is a very homogenous group, ranging from young families with young children through to the elderly and vulnerable. And we can use the assets of all of these people to help out. Some people are more au fait with using the internet and getting advice online, and particularly tackling the issue around scams. The elderly are more likely to be staying at home. So we're using them to be the eyes and ears of the community during the daytime. It just seems to me to make sense if we can all come together.
So, Jim, for people who aren't part of a larger community, what can we be doing on more of an individual basis?
If the neighbour has got something posted through their letterbox which hasn't been pushed all the way through, the neighbour can push it through and deter criminals from thinking the house might be unoccupied. More and more people are shopping online these days, so we're receiving parcels almost on a daily basis. So having an assigned neighbour to take your parcel is vitally important. And then particularly if people are away on holiday, putting out their waste bins, making sure they're put back into the place where they're normally kept, encouraging your neighbour perhaps to park on your drive when you're away on holiday, because that gives the impression that the house is occupied, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Looking out for our neighbours is very important, and developing communities, because in a community that looks after itself, I say crime cannot flourish in a community that cares. The impact is that if you're looking out for your neighbours and protecting the isolated and vulnerable, it generates an atmosphere where the criminal realises that they're not welcome in a particular area.